Hi there, and welcome back to Jewish Conservatives on Locals.com with me, Jake Donnelly. Now, my little spiel today, I'm going to talk about something that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is the Second Amendment/gun rights. The reason that this is such a passionate, and I mean passionate topic for me is because I am technically a part of a vulnerable community, that being the Jewish community. Now notice, I say vulnerable, I don't say weak. And what I mean by that is this. If you are a part of a vulnerable community, you should always, and I mean always, support gun rights. And I say vulnerable, not weak, because I mean things like if you are handicapped, like Madison Cawthorn, who is now a representative on the GOP side in the House. Well, he is confined to a wheelchair. He doesn't have the use of his legs, and yet there were people that were very angry with the fact that Cawthorn had a gun on him during the Capitol Hill riots. Now, this is a guy that is confined to a wheelchair. And I hope many of you would want him to have something where he could protect himself. Well, let's say he gets detached from his security detail and he's in a wheelchair. Who's going to protect Madison Cawthorn then? Madison Cawthorn, nobody else. So if you're a part of the disabled community, if you're a part of the handicapped community, well, you are a vulnerable community. You are not weak by any stretch of the imagination. And more times than not, it is people that are a part of the vulnerable communities who tend to be stronger than those that are more, let's say, able-bodied. The same thing holds true for women. Women are in no way weak. In fact, women are stronger than men. Women have a much higher pain threshold than men do. And yet, women are a part of a vulnerable community, not weak. So somebody like Lauren Boebert, who is the representative, again, representing the GOP side of the aisle in the House, well, she won her case to carry her weapon on her when she went to the Capitol Hill. This, by the way, was before the Capitol Hill riots. And of course, she was proven right for all the worst reasons, but she is about, I think, 5'0", maybe 5'1", and she wanted to carry a gun on her. Then the riots happened. If you're somebody like Lauren Boebert, do you want a gun on you, or do you want to have other people protecting you? Because again, if nobody is around, who can protect Lauren Boebert? Who can protect Madison Cawthorn? Nobody else. And that's why I think Jewish rights coincide perfectly with gun rights. If you are a Jew, you should support the Second Amendment and gun rights. Now, for Jews, it's a very simple reason. If you look at our history, it is, again, replete with instances of government overreach, with governments turning authoritarian and scapegoating the Jews. And right now, in 2021, there are only two countries in the entire world, and some of you might disagree with this, but there are only two countries in the entire world that are safe or at least good for Jews at the moment. It is Israel, of course, and the United States. Nowhere else is it good to be a Jew. And right now in the United States, it's not looking that rosy for the future. If you look towards France, Holocaust survivors are getting stabbed and killed in their apartments. If you go towards Germany, Richard Grenell had to wear a kippah, not Jewish, but he wore a kippah and he wore a flak jacket because it was unsafe, according to Germany, for Jews to walk the streets of Germany with their kippot on. Unsafe. In England, the Labour Party was represented by Jeremy Corbyn, who is an overt anti-Semite. So where is it safe to be a Jew? What two countries in the world say it is okay for you to be a Jew? Israel and the United States. But here's the thing. There is one big difference between Israel and the United States, and it's how they say what Jews can do with protection. In Israel, Israel exists to protect the Jews. Israel says, if you are Jewish, please come to this land and we will protect you. We will always have a standing army to fight and protect the way of the Jews and the way of Judaism. So the government infrastructure is there to protect Jews. There's a difference, though, with the way that the United States looks at Jews. The United States looks at Jews and every other religion and says, it's up to you to protect yourself. We're not going to say you're a protected class. What we're going to do actually is the opposite. We're going to say nobody is a protected class. It is up to you to protect yourself. That is the American compact. Whereas in Israel, it says, hey, Jews, we will protect you. America says, hey, Jews, good luck, protect yourself. We won't get in your way. And that is a fantastic thing. Some people look at that and they don't like that responsibility. I hear that. To some people, guns are a very scary tool. But to people who have experience with guns, guns are just that, just another tool. Like a jackhammer can be scary to use the same way that a nail gun can be scary to use. A gun that shoots, regular bullets, same thing, still scary, but for those with experience, it's less so. And the United States says, Jews, you can protect yourself. And unfortunately, right now in the United States, Jews have to protect themselves. And the reason for that is simple. Up until the latest FBI statistics for hate crimes, Jews were 3.65 times more likely to be the victim of hate crimes than black people. The group that everybody expects is the largest victim of hate crimes. That's true on a per capita basis, but that is not true in terms of population density. For Jews, they are 3.65 times more likely to be the victim of a hate crime. Well, that was until the most recent FBI hate crime statistics. Now, with the newest statistics, Jews are 4 times more likely than black people to be the victims of hate crimes. So you look at that number, you would expect for it to go down, but that's not true. The other thing, at least if you've been paying attention towards mainstream media, is you would expect that most of those hate crimes have been committed by the alt-right trolls, by the white supremacists. Unfortunately, that's not the truth. The vast majority of anti-Semitic hate crimes the perpetrators are black and Hispanic people. Now, that obviously is an embarrassment to the United States, but it's not something that many people will talk about, even though it is, for Jews, the number one pressing issue in the United States, because the vast majority of these hate crimes are happening in heavily Jewish areas, in heavily Jewish neighborhoods like Crown Heights, up in New York City, as well as over in California in the Orthodox community out there. So when you take a look at these statistics, and then you look at the Second Amendment and gun rights, the United States says, hey, we're not here to protect you. You have to protect yourself. And if you look at the history of Jewish people, that is about as good of an agreement as you can get, unless it's literally the Jewish state. Because remember, folks, all of the bad things that have happened to Jews in Jewish history have been legal. When you go back to the Holocaust, when you go back to Nazi Germany, the fact that the Germans continued to take property away from the Jews, and then they took their businesses as well, that was all legal. The pogroms in Russia, all legal. Whenever the Jews are made scapegoats, the sneaky and disgusting fact of the matter is that all of this happens legally speaking. So at least in the United States, States says, hey, we've got the Second Amendment. This is how you can protect yourself. We're not going to go out of our way to protect you. It is up to you. It is your responsibility to do it. Now, if you have a problem with protecting yourself, guess what? That's not our problem. And when you want to look at Jewish history, when you want to look at Jewish gun rights, sometimes perfect is the enemy of good. Perfect, I would say that's Israel, an entire country dedicated to protecting Jews. But am I going to say the United States is bad because the United States says, hey, Jews, it is your responsibility to protect yourself? No, because I look at all those other instances throughout the entire history of the Jews, and I say, thank you, the United States. You know what? If it's up to me to protect myself, knowing how Jews have been dealt with throughout our entire history, I'm okay with that deal. So, if you are a part of a vulnerable community, like the handicapped, like women, like the Jews, you should always support gun rights. And that is my spiel for today. This is Jake Donnelly with Jewish Conservatives on Locals.com. And if you like all this content, please remember to support. I will get out, I'm hoping for between 3 to 5 articles a week, as well as these videos no fewer than 3 times a week. So again, this is Jake Donnelly with Jewish Conservatives on Locals.com. Until next time, folks, see ya.